Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to a trial Let's Play of Farming Simulator 17. What's going on here? Well, I've wanted to play Farming Simulator properly for a very long time now. I love simulator games in general, and Farming Simulator in particular looks like it's extremely well developed. It's got a great community around it. The modding around it is fantastic. I mean, and the game devs really support it. There's a built-in sort of mods browser over here. They run contests for things. People generate a lot of maps, a lot of gameplay changes, a lot of different kind of tractors and tools and things like that that people mod into the game. It is truly impressive what they're doing, and I've really wanted to sink my teeth into Farming Simulator for some time now. Farming Simulator 19 is basically right around the corner, and I kind of feel like I'm going to want to jump on that right away. I don't know how quickly various mods are going to be carried over from one to another, but it looks like it's going to be fantastic. And the other thing is, my multiplayer co-op game of Stardew Valley with A Kiss for Luck and Briarstone is coming to a close very soon, and I think it would be fantastic to transition from multiplayer Stardew Valley to multiplayer Farming Simulator. I think it would be a hoot. I've been trying to sell them on the idea for a bit, and I think if I keep just harassing them about it enough, it might be something that we will do. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, without further ado, let's get us started here. Now, when you start off, you do pick a difficulty. I'm going to pick normal over here, although I've got a lot of reality-enhancing mods that are going to boost the difficulty quite a bit. The base game of FS17 comes with two maps, Goldcrest Valley here, which is sort of Midwest United States, and Sosnovka over here in sort of Eastern Europe. And if you get like the Platinum Expansion Edition or whatever, it adds a South American map, which is kind of cool. But people, yeah, they mod stuff like crazy, and because I thought it would be a good way to, again, try to sell it to A Kiss for Luck in particular, I downloaded a bunch of UK maps, and I fell in love very quickly with Coldborough Park Farm over here. It is utterly gorgeous, just wonderful. The one downside that I will say to this map as a newer player is a lot of the farming fields are humongous. Just massive, but it does look gorgeous. It's based on a real-life farm. You can actually check it out on like Google Maps, Google Earth, and stuff like that, and it's like, whoa, this is freaky. I've driven past there. How bizarre. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this map. Not a heck of a lot of character customization. You can be a dude bro or a girl bro, and that's about your only options, and you can choose the color of your shirt. I'm gonna go with red over here, and I'm gonna be Farmer Quill. That is going to be that. Okay, so I have a variety of mods loaded in here. Most of them were grabbed from the mod store, but a couple of them weren't on the mod, not the mod store, but the built-in mod browser, but a couple of them I did download manually. You can take a look at the list over here. There's one that you have to scroll down for. You can just pause if you want to take a look. So the very first thing we've got here is the map itself. Courseplay is a way for us to basically program in some routes for our AI helpers that is a little bit more tunable and customizable than the built-in AI helper mechanics in the game. We'll talk about that when we get in there. If you haven't played this game before, it'll make a ton of sense when we get in there. 3 modules over here that are basically based on tire mechanics, including more ground response, tire dirt, mostly cosmetic here. Crop destruction is going to make our life a lot harder though. In the default game, like Farming Simulator by itself is fairly realistic. You know, they try to go pretty nitty-gritty hardcore, but there's certain things that they don't simulate in the base game, you know, as sort of a nudge to gameplay, or nod to gameplay. For example, you can drive through a crop field in the base game and not do any damage to your crops. That is no longer the case with this mod here, although you can reduce the impact of that depending on your tire choices and various things like that. Scrolling way down, the other massive gameplay change is going to be seasons over here. The base Farming Simulator does not actually do seasons. You can sort of grow whenever you want, sort of year-round. It's a little bit more loosey-goosey about stuff. Doesn't mean it's still not incredibly hard, but it's a little less structured that way. Well, this mod changes that. It adds a considerable amount of realism to the game by having beautifully vivid seasons functional in the game, but making the farming aspects of things considerably more complicated. It also adds things like maintenance on your vehicles and different things like that. The base seasons mod bases its seasons and temperatures. It based it on somewhere in the UK, but then amplified like the sort of coldness of winter so that you get more snow and sort of like, so it's also applicable to those sort of US Midwest maps. So I did download this GEO pack over here, which is going to reset the temperature more to UK itself. We'll see how that goes. I've also downloaded 2 vehicle packs. I don't know if this pickup pack is particularly important, but I was really excited to be able to get Land Rovers because we are going to be playing in the Ook over here. And finally, Rideable Pony, because it's freaking awesome, and it's one of the first things that we're going to do in this game. We'll probably just sell our pickup and just use a pony to do everything because it's simply amazing. Anyway, we'll go ahead and start. It will take a moment to grind out the map here because it's a pretty fancy map. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks especially good with the Seasons mod. One of the things that'll come in when we start the game, we will be in darkness because it's going to be early spring and the sun rises a little bit later than the default game start. I think the game will load us about 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., something like that. And it'll still be dark. In early spring, the sun will rise at about, 7:15 or something with the season settings that we have configured over here. Because you got to remember, the Ook is fairly far to the north. It's a little deceptive because, especially as a Canuckian like myself, who is used to very harsh winters, it's mind-boggling to think that the UK is actually further north, but has much more mild winter. But that's, ocean and jet streams and things like that for you. Anyway, let's kick into the game. We're just going to go ahead and just click through these little pop-ups over here to get started. A lot of that is part of the mods, but there we go. It is very dark. Now, we do have ourselves a flashlight, so that's going to be lovely. Yeah, you can see here, it's at the top right corner. It's about 20 to 7 over here. And yeah, the sun will rise shortly after 7. We'll start to see the sunrise in the east, which is over here. It does bother me a little bit that this moon graphic they've got, because they went with this, this would be a waxing gibbous moon over here, I would say. I believe I'm right about that. But anyway, the wrong side of the moon is lit. If the sun is going to rise over here, so the sun's over there, which side of the moon should be lit? It is exactly the same moon graphic they have, like, sort of all the time, I think. It's just part of the skybox. So at sunset, it makes sense because of where the solar positions are. But yeah, and the moon's always straight here, just southeast, I would say. Maybe it moves around. I'm not sure. Anyway, we've got a little bit of customization we're going to do before we start running around here and actually talk about, hey, what is Farming Simulator? If we hit escape, we can take a look at the map. We'll come back to it in a second. If we cycle through here, we've got a variety of different panels. We're actually just going to go to the end here, double check our settings, make sure we're happy with it. I have the money set to pounds. I also have the measuring units set to miles here because while the UK is mostly metricized, they do measure their distance in miles. So there you have it here. I think everything else is okay. I don't know what dynamic vehicle camera is. We'll try to stay horizontal to the world. I don't know. Those are okay. Notice that engine start, plant growth, and plant withering, the options are grayed out. We have no control over them because the Seasons mod takes over them. We're going to talk about timescale as we go on forward. This is the time at which the time in the world progresses. So if you increase it, you can go all the way to times 120 or all the way down to real time, it'll affect how quickly the in-game clock goes, which means your crops can grow faster and things like that. Most likely what we'll actually do is we'll run it in times 15. In fact, I'll go ahead and set it to times 15 right now. This means it'll take about... I had done the math before, so it's going to take 15 times faster, so you get an hour every 4 minutes. And so in terms of episode time and stuff like this, I figured that depending on exactly how long I record, it could probably be something like 2 videos per in-game day. Although what I'll probably do is actually do some work in between episodes just to fast forward things. I'm going to turn off these AI helper extra behaviors here, which cost you a little bit of money. We may turn them on later on just to automate more behaviors, but we'll keep them off at this time. Okay, here's the map for Coldwell Park Farm over here. Again, it's a user-generated map. This is, I can never remember. I kept meaning to say his name in here. I keep wanting to say something like Bullet Bill, but I think that's the name of an enemy in Super Mario World. Anyway, this is the person who created this map, Coldwell Park Farm. I mean, if you just Google that name, you'll find a million variants of the site. And again, it's a real farm that exists in Hereford, in England, sort of middle-ish to western England, if I recall. Like, to me, it's sort of like middle-ish, like in terms of east to west of the island. but I think it's a little bit more on the western side, not like west like Cornwall or anything, but a little like western-ish of England proper, if you remember the fact that Wales is there. But you guys can Google it and see exactly where it is. Anyway, there's actually 3 sort of farms on the map. There's Colborough Farm itself, which is this over here, and all these fields. This is an agricultural farm. They grow crops, and that's how they make their dough. There is also Chantry Farm right over here, which is a cattle and sheep farm, and we have access to it in the game. We can raise cattle and sheep over here. We've actually got a bit of equipment that's sitting over there as well. And finally, in the north, there's Yatton Ridge Farm, which is a pig and chicken farm. And again, we have access to that. We don't have any equipment parked over there right now, but we could totally do that. I do want to get into probably some sheep farming, because their sheep are adorable. It's a little easier to kickstart than the cow farming as well, or ranching maybe I should say. I don't know. But we do want to get into some of that. But to start off with, we'll set up some stuff with our crops. You can see the sun rising in the background. So with that, let's go and take a little bit of a look at around the world. Look at the gorgeous sky that's happening here. I'm going to turn off my flashlight. Just absolutely just lovely. So we're at Colborough Farm over here, and we are surrounded by fields. So down here, there's field 8. Not one of our largest ones, but pretty large if we expand the mini-map over here. 9 is the biggest. It's hard to tell the relative size of all of them. We do own the ones with the green numbers, the bolder green numbers, so 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Those are our fields that we own from the beginning. We also own 22 and 23, which are, they just have grass right now, which is going to be great for us. We'll leave it there so that we can mow the grass and use that to feed our sheep, and that's going to be good and lovely. If we do go into here and see the map, you can see there's various crops associated with each one of these fields. I believe this just represents the most recent harvest there. Now, if we were not running with seasons, each one of these fields would have something that would be very ready to harvest, like late growth / ready to harvest. However, with seasons, all the fields start off bare. It's, winter has just gone away. There are no crops there. They're all in this so-called harvested state. They're not even plowed or anything. And if we go over here, soil composition, you can see everything needs plowing. We don't have to worry about that for the grass. It just does its own thing. We'll just have to wait a few days for that to trigger. So, the fields themselves, they got some weeds, some random plants, sort of growing out of the ground here, but they have to be plowed over so that we can start doing some planting, and that's going to be a priority. And meanwhile, the time is ticking away. Maybe while I do the intro, I'll bring it back down to 5 times speed just to slow it down. So we've got 9 is a gargantuan field over here. It'd probably take an hour and a half to 2 hours real time to just plow this whole thing, let alone do, plantings and fertilizings and whatnot. We may have to wait for these bigger fields until we've made some money and can get much larger and wider plows that can do, a lot more width per pass here. So with that in mind, what I'm thinking of is field 4 and 5 are both relatively small, and I think we start by working those. In particular, 4 is really easy and convenient for us to reach. If we run around here, actually, if I run right over here, this is basically the entrance to this farm proper. Way down that road, you can reach the one of the actual sort of paved community roads down there. There's also a little house over there, which in my mind is where we live. I believe in real life it's actually a bookstore over there. But our pickup truck is parked out over there as well. And right over here by this gate, this is actually, we can open this gate here, this is field number 4. So it's not too big. Although, honestly, I think it's still quite a bit more sizable, possibly twice as big as the sort of first field you would see in the default map. So we're going to have to get that plowing. God, that is so pretty. We're going to have to get that plowing relatively soon. But we actually won't be able to plant anything right away because in seasons we have to worry about temperature. So in the top right corner of the screen there, you can see there's a little temperature display that's currently in Fahrenheit. And the reason for that, as far as I can figure out, is if you start your map with miles as your measurement distance, Seasons assumes that you want an imperial as opposed to metric setup, and so Seasons will default to Fahrenheit. Whereas if you have kilometers as your default, it will get to Celsius right away. But I can go and flip back to there. So, and we've got Celsius. So Alt-S, and you can see in the top right corner of the control screen, Alt-S lets me open the Seasons menu. This is completely from the mod itself. We've got a calendar of when we can plant various crops. Each season is sort of subdivided into 3 chunks. So we've got sort of early spring, mid-spring, late spring, then summer, autumn, and winter over here. In addition to that, for each one of our crops, we have a planting season and a harvesting season. But beyond that, so even though we're the first day of spring right now, and by default it's 9 days per season, although we're making a change of that in just a moment, the ground temperature is too cold for most of the crops. Only grass is comfortable to be seeded right now. That's 3 degrees. Everything else will fail to germinate because it's going to be too cold, and it'll actually just ruin your seeding. So we have to let the ground temperature increase a bit before we plant. If you look in the top right corner, the air temperature, so it's going to be cloudy today. It's sunny right now, but our forecast is for it to be cloudy today with a high of 11. The ground temperature is currently 4 degrees Celsius, so we're just 1 degree off of really being able to start some of our basic hard year crops like your wheat and barley and whatnot. Wheat and barley can also be planted in the fall. And it will survive through the winter once it's already in the ground, and then it'll start to grow. There's still the default season set up over here. Doesn't have a harvest of wheat and barley, say, in late spring or anything from that, but it lets you spread out some of your planting work, which makes things a lot more manageable overall. You can see sugarcane down here, but that's for the South American map, so we're not going to be doing any of that. Now, the economy also changes. There's a rise and fall of supply and demand basically with these crops, and so during harvest time, like when in the fall when you're harvesting the corn, is when it's going to be worth the least because there's a lot of supply, whereas if we can store enough of it and wait for some of the peaks in sort of midwinter and midsummer over here, then we can get the most amount of money for it. So we might work some of that. Anyway, here we've got our season settings over here, in particular the season length. So default to 9 days. We're going to shorten this. I think I'm going to shorten this all the way down to 3 days here. Some combination of season length plus the time, the sort of real or in-game clock is going to determine effectively how long you have to work and how long you have to plant things. I think this is going to give us a nice, enjoyable feel. We do have a fair amount of work to do to get this going. If I made the seasons really long and didn't run the in-game clock very quickly, I might be able to plow all the fields in time for planting, but I think with this speed, it'll be just about right for us to at least get one field going. Maybe we can do field 5 as well, and then also get going with our animal crops. So this is Coldborough Farm. This is where we started here. We've got over here, or it's actually a silo setup. So if we did go and pick up, say, some grain, we could dump it in here, which would be put on various conveyors and vacuums to bring it into these silos. And then anytime we want to deliver goods to market, we can bring a truck under this little pipe over here. And what it will do is it will load the truck up with, our various fruits, and let us, here, we'll pick up some gold nuggets here, let us send them off to market, for example. So we'll be doing some of that. We actually do have a little bit of stuff already in storage. If we look over here, we've got a little bit of our various grains. This is soybean, sunflower, canola, barley, wheat, and that was corn over here. So we've got a little bit of each one of these. And by a little bit, I mean, several thousand liters. And I believe these prices are per 1,000 liters that we sell. There's 2 places on this map that we can sell. There's the Wine Stay stores. There's also this biogas place. There's a few other places as well that will buy and sell various resources as we go. But for our early crops, it's going to be a question of do we ship to biogas or Wine Stay stores, and it's mostly going to depend on what the price is at any given time. Right now, our canola would sell for more at biogas, but I believe this price is currently going down. I don't know if red means it's at the minimum or red is just lower than average or what the deal is, but we'll have to pay attention to some of these prices and determine where we're going to sell things as we go. Whew, taking a breath. All right, so that's that. We've got the garage on the other side. So we actually start, and one of the reasons I did like this map is we actually start with 4 tractors. They ain't fancy, but we've got 4, and I think that's going to be great for our multiplayer setup. We've got the Deutz-Fahr over here, which has the Agrostar 6.61. It has a 143 horsepower engine. And, oops, I'm hitting the wrong buttons over here. And it doesn't have a particularly fancy cab going on. It can use the front sort of lift bars. I don't know what you would call it, but like your fork assembly in the front. It can use that if I recall correctly. And at 143 horsepower, it's got a decent amount of towing capacity. We've got here our tipper trailer, so we can fill it. We can fill it with various goods. Bring it places, and we can tip. It can tip out the back, or actually side to side as required, which is very handy. We've got a beautiful little farmhouse over here. We can't enter it. On some maps, people have actually modeled the inside of the houses and everything, but the houses tend to be pretty plain on the inside because people don't spend a lot of time there. There's another gold nugget. These are just little Easter eggs spread out across the maps that people put in. So we'll pick them up if we see them. But yeah, but you don't spend a lot of time in there, so, you know, it doesn't matter that it opens or closes. Back here, we've got a giant shed to store things in. Just wonderful. I think it's for, like, machinery and stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's set up for, like, silage storing or anything. Maybe we could put, like, hay bales or something. Although, why would we store hay bales here? Well, I suppose when we harvest our wheat, we'll be able to get some things from that. I don't know. Anyway, we have here a cultivator, and not there, but on the other side we have our plow. So this is stuff I had to, like, Wikipedia and look up, and what's the deal? So in my mind, the best way I can think of it is a cultivator is just a minimalist plow. It just breaks up the surface a little bit, whereas a plow actually digs deep and turns over the earth. In game terms, you have to run the cultivator between each harvest, and we have to plow every third harvest or so to keep up the ground fertility properly. This is our seeder over here. Yeah, and you may be able to tell, I don't know if you've played the game before or anything like that. While we do start with 4 tractors, they're all pretty basic, and our equipment is fairly basic as well. There's a massive shop in game here for an incredible amount of different stuff through massive amounts of different categories, like even the plows. So we are actually going to be running this Kuhn Varimaster. That's what we start off with, and we'll look at that just around the corner. But these plows go to, like, crazy amounts, and our base plow has a width of about 2 meters is how much it can plow at once. This guy here is 6.2 meters. It unfolds and it's this huge thing, so it can plow 3 times as quickly. However, it needs a 300 horsepower engine to power it properly, whereas the Kuhn only needs a 120 over here. And our best tractor support, it has 145 horsepower, and we'll look at that in just a second. This is our seed refill area. So the way it works in the game, as far as I can tell, you don't have to go and, like, buy seed from the shop and, like, cart it over or anything like that. You just fill it up and you get charged at the time, sort of charged on use. There's not a lot of things where you don't have to micromanage like that, but that is one of the things. I mean, unless I'm wrong. That's not a gold nugget over there. No, there's just a little sparkle on the screen. Okay. Here is our case 3. I don't know if you call it the case 3. The case 1455. This is our 145 horsepower tractor. It is our most powerful tractor. And again, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that potent. If we take a look around the cab, it's again fairly bare. It's not one of those fancy tractors with, like, the tractor tech is insane these days, by the way. These things are all, like, fully electronic. They have GPS set up so that you can just program in the routes and have them basically run on their own from GPS for perfectly straight lines and things. It's really impressive, the tractor technology. So, you know, this isn't terribly new or terribly fancy, but it is our most powerful one as is. It can't actually do, like, front lifter kind of stuff over here. I don't think you can attach anything to the front of it. I think this is just a static counterweight here to stop it from sort of popping a wheelie when it's got a heavy load on the back, and I think that's it. Here's our plow that we were looking at, the Kuhn Varimaster 153. Very spiky, don't fall on it accidentally. And is there anything else? Yes, there's some more. Here is our, this is our liquid sprayer for liquid fertilizer over here, as well as our fertilizer storage and refilling area. This is an extra liquid tank that we can put on the front, not on the case, because the case can't support something on the front, but if we brought the Deutzfahr over here, we can get some extra liquid capacity, which could be handy. And over here, we got our combine in our machine shop, a place where we can repair our vehicles, which is more important on seasons, as well as do some customizations and stuff as need be. We can also sell from here, although I think we get more money if we were to sell directly at the shop. This is our combine here, and the harvester, the header here, and this is what we'll use to actually collect our grains and whatnot. And it's got the pipe over there that you can go and unload into our trailer. So there's a tour of this farm. We'll be taking a look at Chantry farm in the very, very near future. But let's get going here. We need to get plowing. So we're going to hop into the case and get her going. If you haven't played the game before, you've got this control screen over here. You can toggle it on and off with F1. The mods that I'm using have added a few little entries here. You've got the stuff about seasons, and the bottom 2 lines are, or the second to the bottom line where it talks about maintenance, that's part of seasons as well. And then the last line about course play, we'll look into that in the future, but that's again sort of programmable routing for your things. Now, I actually find I have a slightly easier time, I don't know why, backing onto equipment from inside the cab. Some things are a little easier from outside, and some things are just easier from inside. Now, I'm just using a keyboard and mouse to play this. I don't have a controller plugged in, and I certainly don't have any of the really fancy hardware that some people have for this. You can get a mod that forces you to get outside of the tractor to hook up the equipment, but I decided that might be a little much for me. So we're heading over to field number 4. So let's get over there. Lots of shine on the windows, lots of glare right now, but at least the windows are clean. So here's field number 4. Now popping out so we can actually see the equipment. And again, it's fairly squarish, which is nice. And what we have to do is we have to plow this to get ready for seeding. We still can't seed right now. Ooh, the air temperature dropped remarkably. It's only 4 degrees right now. I guess that's probably why it got foggy. Look at this! A cold front sort of came in, and all the moisture in the air just poofed into well, a cloud. That's what a fog is. I love the tracks on the ground. Like, look at this. If we drive around, like, look how gorgeous this game is. Leaving the track marks in there, you know, kicking up dirt. Just the track marks will be a little bit more obvious when we're driving across our plowed field, actually, than some of this. So, in terms of plowing, I come around. I think I accidentally hit the Q key as I was trying to navigate. This is fine. There we go. Come over here. Excellent. And V to lower. Excellent. And we're going to drive straight. You can hit the 3 key to turn on the cruise control, which will just drive your vehicle at an appropriate speed. Either full speed, or if your tool is down, at basically the maximum speed that your tool can handle. And there we go. And when we're going to start plowing. So here's plowing. Very exciting. There we go. We finished 1 row. Now, these hedges don't actually have a collision enabled, so you can go and be sort of lazy and do that. In practice, what we do is actually go and set up the headland, which is we sort of just go around the outside, say like this, do a couple of loops so that everything on the outside is plowed. Then we don't have to go back and forth quite so much with our rows. Now, I'm going to be a little lazy and cheaty on this first one and not do that, mostly because what we're going to do for this first one is we're going to get the basic AI helper to plow this field for us while we go and take care of other work. We're going to hire someone, and we're going to have to pay them with in-game money to go and do this. So we're going to line up vaguely correctly. I'm going to hit H. You can see my farmer changed in there. We've hired someone. Hello, Jane. Thanks for helping us out here. And she's just going to go back and forth. She might get a little bit wonked out because of the curve here. If it's a perfectly rectangular field and you're lined up at the edge, yeah, there'll be this sliver left open. Now, assuming I set this up correctly, she's going to go that way to continue. There's a possibility she'll go that way and then just end the job, but I think I orientated ourselves successfully here so that, yeah, this is going to be fine. So she's going to keep going back and forth, and we'll go and clean that bit up. It's sort of inevitable. There's just, the field's not regular, right? You can tell because the straight line here, clearly this bit to our left here is not quite square. So she's going to go back and forth in perfectly straight lines and plow the field for us. It's going to take her a while to do it, and our money is going to decrease in the top right corner. You can see it go down here as we are paying our helper to do this for us. It's quite expensive, actually, in terms of, like, you know, pounds per hour. But it's important. We need to do some multitasking. Now, if we weren't running seasons and the ground temperature was not a barrier to us planting, or I suppose if I want to plant grass seed, which I could do right now, I could go and switch right now to one of our other tractors. What you can do is you can hit tab to switch between all your various devices. There's a bunch of different ways you can sort of teleport around. But I could grab, this is our Deutzfahr over here at Coldborough Farm, and I could go and attach the seeder, or sower, I think is what it's called, to the back of this thing, and I could follow right behind Jane, and I could be planting right now, but it's too cold, so we can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on selling the goods that we've currently got sitting around in here. We'll actually also do something else really cool. I'm going to keep tabbing here. There we go. Look at her go. Excellent. There we go. Until we get over here with the pickup truck. So this is our house, and right over, oh, I guess it would be in the distance, sort of over there, is field number 4, isn't it? Yeah, so we might not be able to see Jane. I was just wondering, it's really nice when you can see the AI worker doing its thing especially with the mist going on right now, the fog. I think, yeah, she'd be just over somewhere over there. So we can't quite see her, but that's okay. So we're going to jump through these hedgerows, and we've got this. Now, being in the UK, these pickup trucks don't make as much sense. So we're going to go and sell this thing to help us raise a little bit of cash. Let's go and turn on our lizard pickup truck over here. And it goes fairly quickly. But if I were to go to take a right down this road, so Underwood is our little house, down in that distance there, that's the actual farm where we just were. That building that you can see silhouetted in the sky, that's the farmhouse where we just were. But we're going to go down this way instead. And, okay, this does not have a tractor-like turning radius. Oops. We're going to come over here, open up this gate. And I'm going to remember that I'm in the UK, and therefore I have to drive on the left-hand side of the road, which is very hard for me to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to go and sell our pickup. And there's two reasons. One, it's not the most like thematically appropriate, I would say, for the ook. So I want to cross that way. Okay. No! Oh my god, this turning radius is so different from driving. Okay, let's put on the cruise control so I don't have to focus on the speed. Honk honk. Vroom. Whoa! This thing drives way too fast! Whoa. Alright. This is fine. Yeah. And I do have the mod to have Land Rovers. We could sell this and buy a Land Rover, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy myself a pony. Because ponies are awesome. And I want one. Now, we could have sold this directly from the garage interface, but I think we get more money if we bring it over here, which is the vehicle selling spot. Now, where's the actual spot where I would sell the vehicle? Probably right here. In this yellow marker. Smash. Alright, so it's got a few scratches on it, but I'm sure they won't mind. If I come here, fasten tension belt, I guess interact with, configure or directly sell vehicle. There we go. We're going to sell this for £22,000. Fantastic. Now, the thing is, the pickup does have usage because you can put bales in the back and things like that. It's actually quite nice. I want to purchase. I guess I shop from here. There we go. We're going to purchase from here, and if we go, I think it's under the car category. Oh, there, cars over here, as opposed to trucks, even though, you know, pickup trucks. But trucks, they mean like trucks. So we got a variety of different pickups. That's the one we had. And then some of these are for mods. You can see a little red marker over there. Here's the Land Rover, which is great and very tunable. You can change the tire setup and a few different things. And oh no, it's not in this category. It must be in the animal category. Okay. It's very tempting to get the Land Rover because they are super cool. If we go here, there we go. Yes, excellent. I'm gonna buy a pony for £200. We can change the color. Let's have a red-brown pony. Excellent. That makes me very happy. And we're going to get a wooden cart. Yeah, well, the standard wooden cart is going to be fine. Excellent. And we're going to need some food and water for the pony. These are probably placeables. We can put them anywhere we want. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the hay rack. Okay, we're gonna buy those when we're back home because it'll default us in the right position to do that. Okay, done and done. Pony! There it is. Oh, look at it, it's so pretty! I mean, not the highest detailed model. There's also, like this. Yes, I know I'm standing on the pony. There's the seam down the back, which is actually from, like, the modeling thing. It's probably they didn't merge the vertices and then apply a smooth or something like that. I'm not sure. You know, it is just a mod, but it's pretty freaking awesome. I also really enjoy the this wagon over here. That blue line there is because you can put these little tension straps down, and we'll be making use of that later on. Oh, gorgeous. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a bale. I'm going to buy a bale of hay, just so that we have something to carry back. Shop menu, animals, small hay bale. Boom, excellent. And it'll be, yeah, right over here. Excellent. So we're going to grab the hay bale. Now, if you move your mouse too quickly, yeah, you'll fling stuff. So, oh, and if it gets stuck on stuff a little bit. So we're going to sort of gently move it over here, up. And yes, there we go. We'll put that in there, and we're going to fasten the tension straps And I love that. Like, check it out. Like, it shapes itself to the goods that are in there. Like, how cool is that? All right, Pony. Let's say, looks like a girl to me, so we'll call you Petra. Hey, Petra. Oh, you can rub you right there. Oh, that's the good spot right there. Oh, excellent. And there we go. We have a pony. We can go first person, or we can ride from here. Pony can actually motor pretty impressively. It's got 19 miles an hour over here as its cruising speed. That's pretty good, I would say. It does require food and water to keep it top efficiency. Oh, I'm not doing this very well. Let's try this again. You know what? This is actually... Come on, Petra. There we go. Back up, back up, back up. And there. Awesome. Okay. Let's go home. Let's go to our new home. Clop, 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 clop. Is this the greatest thing ever or what? Yeah. All right, so left-hand drive. We got this. We be motoring. 17 miles an hour, 18, 19. Yes, top speed achieved. And we got our hay bale. The hay bale in the back. Nice square bale. Try to stay in our lane. We got a honk. There we go. That's our honk here on the horse. The neigh. Oh, which I just love. Let's go first person. You know, we don't have much of a view in first person, do we? I love it. Who needs a pickup truck? First of all, this is way cheaper. It's more environmentally friendly. It doesn't require petrol. And it produces its own fertilizer, too, that we can use for more of our farming. And how wonderful is that? So we're going to head ourselves home. And then we're going to double check on how the plowing is going. And that'll probably be the end of this episode here. And yeah, we will go and increase the speed a little bit. One of the nice things about having the shorter spring is that when the next day starts, because we'll be in mid-spring, I believe our grass fields will actually have gotten some grass. If we went right now, the grass fields would be bare. I mean, they would look green, but there would be no growth that we could actually mow and use. But I think tomorrow we'd actually be able to get some grass there, and that means we can start getting some sheep actually, which is probably what we're going to do next. But I'm going to take our left over here. Oh, corners like a dream. There you go. Honestly, a lot easier to drive than pickup. I mean, sure, it's slower too, and that's part of it, but hey. And I love the swinging lantern. The swing is it's not physics enabled. The lantern swings continuously, I think, even when you're parked. Whoa, this is us. Clop, 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 clop. That sign is great too. Private road, access only to Coldborough Farm and Underwood. And the thing is, if you look this place up on Google Maps, it's the exact same sign. The exact same sign. If you're wondering what the Underwood is, it's here. It's the name of this little home, which is where our pickup was parked. But I think we're going to put Petra over in one of these fields here. I don't know. Probably in the cow field. I think ponies and cows will get along well together, right? Sure. That's gigantic field number 9, and this is actually pretty big field number 2 over here, both of which we own. Over on left is field number 4, so there we go. We can see Jane. Oh, I can't see her too well because of the hedge and the mist, but there you go. Jane and her tractor, hard at work. Let's take a screenshot. This looks beautiful. Right there. Nicely framed. Excellent. I guess I could hide the mini-map completely as well. There we are. I don't know. One of those. Thanks for helping out, Jane. Your work's appreciated. I mean, we're paying you enough for it, so... so you're in there, and... Oh, I was saying the cow field. This is not actually... This is the wrong farm. You know what? Fine. Petro, you'll be on your own over here. Not where the cows are. Maybe we should just put you in the house yard over here. Can we get you through there? I mean, we can clip through the hedge because there's no collision set on the hedges. We could put you in there. I mean, that's not... You wouldn't run away on us, would you? We'll put you right over here. It feels like you should be enclosed somewhere, though. Maybe I should move you to the other farm. Maybe what I'll do is I'll bring her over to Chantry Farm in between episodes. And then we can start talking about what's going on over there. That seems great to me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a cut in here. And next episode, we will be over here at Chantry Farm. All right. Well, folks, this is definitely an experiment. You guys let me know if this is something that you're into. I mean, the easiest way to do that is to leave comments, or of course, likes and subscribes and all those things are also like pretty handy. And we'll see, both in terms of like possibly for a single player Let's Play, but going forward in the future, Farming Simulator 19, as well as the possibility of a multiplayer campaign. Where maybe instead of using AI helpers, I mean, we just work together as a group, 3 people. That'd be pretty awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.